Hey everyone, and welcome to MindSpanse. I'm Craig, and thank you for taking some time with me today. We're going to start a new series on clarity, one of my favorite things. We've talked about quieting the noise in our mind. We've talked about being present. We've talked about letting go of attachments. And clarity comes out of all of that and more. And why do we care? Why do we care about clarity? Well, it's our decision-making process. Clarity is, think about, we have all this stuff going on around us. We're a big sensor, so we sense things, we see things, if we're lucky enough to see and hear and taste and feel, and we interact with the universe. And we absorb all that information through our sensors, and our brain processes it and puts it against a framework, and that becomes the reality that we perceive. And so if you think of that as a lens, and if the lens is blurry, then our perception is going to be blurry and our decisions are going to be blurry, and we're not going to find a path that works for us, probably, and we're going to have a lot of suffering. So the key is, how do you, one, have as clear a lens as you can. You should understand it's always a lens, so it's always illusion. The question is, can you minimize the distortion and the illusion, right? And secondly, how do we take that and apply it to our decision making, and so that we're making good decisions that are in line with who we are, understanding what we really are about, and decisions that empower us and make us feel good. And so all of that is about finding that clarity. And so sometimes, so we're going to talk about a couple of things. So we're going to talk about inner wisdom, trusting ourselves. We're going to talk about using some of these noise quieting things and some other techniques to clean our lens. And we're going to talk about something I call knowingness, which is breaking down a decision to a point where it's not unclear. In other words, if you are walking down a road and you're looking for a gas station because your car broke down, and there's a fork in the road, and there's one goes to the right, one goes to the left, but you don't see the gas station, you don't know where the gas station is, you know you want a gas station, so you're guessing, and it's hard to make a decision, and so you guess. Now, if you could see the gas station and you saw it was there on your right, then there would be no decision to make, right? In a sense, you're making a decision to go towards the gas station, but you can actually see it, right? So knowingness is breaking down a decision process to the point where the decision is known, if that makes any sense. So to the point where you see the gas station, so going to the right is the only path to take if you want gas. So knowing exactly what you want, having that clarity to know what you want, not knowledge, but to really know. Because then when you make that decision, you make it with 100% energy, and the likelihood of it being successful is almost 100%, right? Or if it is 100%, right? Whereas if you make a decision with not a lot of clarity, with not a lot of knowingness, then you're also going to sort of not put as much energy into that decision. And so the likelihood of it coming out the way you want it to is also much lower. So not only do you not know exactly where you're going, but you're not putting any energy into the direction that you chose, and so you sort of fail on purpose. we'll talk a lot about it. But anyway, so that's what we're going to talk about in this series of episodes. Let's do a big stretch, and we'll do one quick exercise. Breathe in deep through your nose. Hold it for a second. Let your mouth smile. Release. Let your shoulders relax. Relax your face, your jaw. I'm going to do a really quick exercise. So, sometimes when I'm trying to be clear or be focused, because you don't know a lot of times, so you're sort of breaking things down in your mind. What I do is a great sort of like visualization exercise. And it's a way for me to just flush my system and be completely open to whatever the universe seems to be projecting to me. And you can call that inner wisdom, you can call that, you know, the connected mind or whatever it is. But it does work, actually. And so what I do is I close my eyes, and you could do this either lying down, or don't do it when you're walking or driving or whatever. That would be probably bad. But it doesn't matter how you're sitting or lying or whatever you're doing. But I imagine myself walking into a field, like beautiful, beautiful field, and there's a lake, and you know, the most beautiful place in the world, and the temperature is the most beautiful temperature in the world, and everything's amazing. And I imagine either sitting or standing, and I imagine that I grow roots out from underneath me, from my body, that go deep, deep, deep into the ground. And I imagine roots extending from my arms and my upper body up to the sky and connecting to all the stars in the sky. And I imagine other roots coming out and going into the lake, into the oceans. And so I have now connectivity through this root system into the earth, into the water, into the sky. And I take a moment to just really breathe very deeply and open myself up completely to all that energy, the energy that's all around us, and allow it to flow through my body, through this root system. And so I'm just initially a conduit, and maybe there's some blockages or whatever, but it's so powerful. The energy from the stars, and the energy from the oceans and the lakes and the waterfalls, and the energy from the ground and the underground thermals and all this stuff. Eventually it pushes everything through, and it's just, I'm just in the middle of it all, and it's just rushing through me. And I just sort of fall back into that and just be in the middle of this incredible rush of energy that's flying through my body. And in a sense, that what that does is purify any thought that might flow through me. It purifies me to a point where I am completely clear. And I just sit with that for a while and breathe in through my nose, out through my mouth, and just enjoy this sort of just being in the flow of the surge of energy. And I ask a question. I'll just pose one question about whatever it is that's going on in my life. And I'll focus myself on just that question. And then I just let it go. And I let whatever comes, and whatever comes. Sometimes nothing comes, and that's cool. And sometimes you get this incredible insight. And I talk about this a lot, but like anything that we do in any of these practices, as you do them, your body, your brain starts to work better at it. It gets better at it, just like you with any other exercise. And you start to recognize, you'll have more insights. You'll be able to, and in the beginning it takes a little longer, or it feels uncomfortable mentally to do this, you don't get it. But if you keep at it, pretty quickly it works, and you get really good at it, and it happens in 2 seconds, and you start to recognize what's an insight, what's not an insight, and all these things. And it's just great. And it's, one, it's really relaxing, and it really puts you in a great place. And if nothing happens, that's cool too. You know, whatever. It's just you took a quiet moment to yourself and connected with the universe, and that's great. So I'll leave you with that. I want you to have a really amazing day. We're going to talk a lot about clarity and knowingness and all kinds of cool stuff in the next bunch of videos. So thank you. Subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and like the video if you like it. And any experiences you have through any of these videos, please comment, and I'll do my best to answer your questions or whatever I can do to help. So have a great day, and I wish you well. Be patient with yourself and with everyone around you. And thanks again.